Back at it again. Last time I built you one deck that was basically $50 for the whole deck, which included all the different elements. So 50 divided by 7, it was about $7 each. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to build you decks for about $50 per element. So it'll be $350. And then what you can do is, if you don't want to invest that kind of money, or if you want to just buy a few, then what you can do is maybe choose 3 elements plus neutral, so that's about a $200 investment. Or if you want to do the full 350, do that. And then what I'll do is, in most cases I won't pick legendaries, because I think most legendaries are above $50. But what I'm going to look to do is get more epics, and then also prioritize which cards we should be leveling up, which would then mean that we've got to pick some summoners, and then we've got to level up some summoners. So we're going to start with fire today. Okay, so to begin with fire, what we're going to straight away look for when we start our cards is, let's look at summoners. Summoners is always the best place to start. So when we look at fire, what we get is one summoner is $3.50 or $7. We're not going to pick the Malric, it's just too expensive. But what we can straight away see is it's $36 for level 2. So if we were to buy a level 2, we would need 5 of them. So let me get my calculator as well, just because we'll need it eventually. But it'll be 5 times 3.5, which is $17. So do we want to spend more than a quarter of the budget? Yeah, it's about 33% on a quid. Do we want to buy a quid? We obviously can't buy the Jotun, we can't buy the Ember Storm, so the legendary summoners are out. A Telia we could potentially buy, but it's not a priority. Okay, I'm gonna put it in just to begin with, but let's see what it is. Okay, let's buy. Okay, so we would need to buy, obviously, a level 2 would then cost us 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what a level 2, that's the level 2 quid. Because we can't buy the Pyre, we can't buy the Malric. So if we want to go for levels, we have to use a quid. And then next we're going to look into the promo, reward, and dice cards. Okay, so when we look here, what are the cards that okay, we definitely need a Fitness Rage. So when we click buy, we're going to quickly see what a level 2 gives us. Okay, so it's not a big drastic drop. It's only 1 more HP, so it's not the most important thing. We can't see anything, I don't know why. So why can we not see anything? Let's click buy. Cool. Level 8 is $3. Level 1. Okay, so we're gonna pick up a level 1. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can't pay $50 for level 3, but we're not gonna buy level 3 anyway. So at the moment we're looking at $21. Wow, okay, crazy. Okay, so we got the Fitness Rage. So he's really important because I use him so often. In any game, he's very, very viable. Ooh. Okay, if you don't want the Fitness Rage, you could definitely go for a Lava Launcher. I'm gonna add one to the deck. I'm not recommending the new reward cards because a lot of the times they get dumped. But basically, when the Lava Launchers, when more of them come out and the price keeps dropping, just pick one up for your deck. I think it's really good. We definitely need a Pyromancer. Pyromancer is worth any amount of money. $6 for Pyromancer, done. Pyromancer, huge. I should have looked at legendaries, but I'll do that later. But just looking at these reward cards and the dice cards, I'm getting a good idea. We don't want a Molten Ogre. I think he's highly overrated. Exploding Dwarf. I'm gonna add it to the list, but I might remove it later. But it's not as bad as people think. How much is level 1? 3. Yeah, okay, we can spend $1 on a flaming. We definitely want a Flame Monkey. Okay, Flame Monkey, really, really strong later in the game. Right now, pretty shit. Level 1s are really shit. You want it to be level 5 because then it gets repair and then it's super, super strong. Okay, we definitely need one of these. So one of each of these archers, just basically, he is a super archer tank. So he gives you the most amount of damage you'll get at the moment. for level 1 with a lot of HP. And then he has 1 armor, which is very good because it stops. He's very good against a sandworm. So just those big tanky stealth monsters, just really strong to come in the back and protect you. So we definitely need to pick up one of each of these. But you get the whole idea. At the moment, all we've done is we've got a level 2 summoner, so we can get some level 2s. Basically, rares can be level 2s and commons can be level 3s. But before we get those, all we're doing is we're just filling out the deck with the non-beta cards and the non-untamed cards. So we're just filling it out so that way when you select fire, you will have all of these options that weren't available to you at first before we go look into the untamed and the beta. The elder I don't like, but we still need one. I don't think he's that good. I would much rather have the lava launcher, or much rather have the Finis Rage, because 1 magic damage, the 8 HP 1 magic damage is not bad, but it's not as good as people think. And then in terms of the last stand, I think people overrate that crazy. At the moment we've spent $34, so we still have about $15 to spend, but with that $35, you're already in a really good spot. Impoman, a bit too expensive for my taste, but so what we have is we got a level 2, which we haven't used yet, so we could still sell all of that and just keep an extra summoner. So we can just have a quid as an option that many people don't have. So for example, in Armored Up, instead of doing the damage or the speed, you just want the pierce damage because you know that they're going to have armor. You've got the Finis Rage, you've got the Lava Launcher, and the Pyromancer are all excellent position 2 units. You've got the Exploding Dwarf, which is $1, completely situational. But for equalizer games, you put him in the front, he's got high speed. Oh, in level 1 he doesn't have high speed, but he's got 3 damage, and then that HP will fix itself, and then he's got blast. So super strong. If you don't want to use an Exploding Dwarf, I think the level 1 version's worse, but you can get Exploding Rats. So it is worse, it's cheaper in mana, it has more speed, but it's got 2 damage. But, no, okay, never mind. Levels do not help this. We needed to get, I know, a level 3, but we don't have the summoner for that. Our summoner is not level 3, so we can't utilize the Exploding Rats. So because of that, we're picking the Exploding Dwarf at level 1. Later in the game, Exploding Rats could be more viable, but if it's a choice between the two, we're just going to pick up the Exploding Dwarf. If we have budget problems, we'll swap it out. Okay. So let's just quickly look at the legendaries. Okay, no. So unfortunately, all the fire legendaries are above our $50 budget, so it's not an option. But I would still recommend you rent them. So obviously the number 1 rental is the Jotun. Then maybe the Emberstorm. And actually the rest are all luxuries. They're not as important. Maybe him for a 99 mana games are very cool. But the rest are pretty mediocre. The Elemental Phoenix comes into play later when it gets blast, but the main thing is just the summoners that you would want to rent. But okay, so we can't get any legendaries, that's okay. We've already picked up the 2 cheapest epics. Okay, now we gotta think. Do you want to spend $6 on an Imp Bowman? No. Imp Bowman's really strong and very important for a fire deck, but only if they own a Jotun, because then he just adds an extra archer that's very cheap at 2 mana. The Goblin Fire Mage is really strong, but I don't think it's as important as people think, because for 4 mana, the Dispel's cool, but at the end of the day it's still a 1 for 3 for 4 mana, which is just not what we're looking for. There's better ways to spend that mana. So we're going to just take the 2 cheapest ones, and that's okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look and see what we should upgrade. So the first thing is I'm going to go to Untamed, because beta is going to be very expensive. We all know that. Like, I can tell you what beta cards are good, like a Cobalt Miner, very good. Cerberus, really good. I would say these 3. Cobalt Miner, Fire Beetle, Cerberus are like tier 1. If you can get the Fire Demon with Blast, very strong. Fire Serpent, really good. I really love it, but I just can't afford it. The rest, average. Obviously the Summoner's good. But these are the 3 stars of bronze. The problem is, if you wanted a level 2, a level 1's already $5, not important. But if you wanted a level 4, a level 3 for our summoner, it's already $30. And I'm not prepared to spend $30 on that. Maybe a gold foil's cheaper. No, gold foil is already $100. So it's not worth it. We just need to accept that we can't use these cards. Or we'll use them, but we won't be able to level them up. So what can we get for $15? We need 5 for level 2. We could level up the living lava. So the 2 that I want to level up is the living lava and the serpent spy, because those are just really, really strong, good cards. So the serpent spy, when you level him up, he gets that 1 extra movement speed. And because you get that 1 extra movement speed, wow, fuck, a level 3 is already $30. So because you can get that extra movement speed, what you can basically then do is you have that movement speed advantage, which is basically what Pyre gives. So you could then use him plus, for example, the arm. You could use the Quid and then Pierce, or, well, we don't have a choice because at the moment we only have the 1 level 2 summoner. So ideally we would want a level 3 because it gets that extra HP, but even a level 2 gives us that 1 extra speed, which means that when we fight other serpent spies that have the speed advantage, we can then be equal to them. So that's kind of the mentality. We're looking for cards that we can upgrade to give us an extra advantage. So if we were to look at Living Lava, for example, if you were to upgrade him, you get 1 extra HP. So in that extra matchup, you get 1 extra HP, which is huge. Oh, maybe it's not huge, but to me it's huge. So if it's $2 or if it's $2.50, if we needed 5 of those, that's basically going to be our $5. And I don't like that. I don't want to spend like near our $15, or let's say it's 2.5 times 5. That's already 12.5, and then we got $2.50 to spend. Okay, so I don't like that plan. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm scratching all the quids. So we're going to have 1 quid, and then we're going to have $30 to spend, because I think it's more important that we just spread. So instead of getting upgraded cards, we're going to spread ourselves wide. So in that case, what you do want to do is you're going to pick yourself up a Pyromancer and a Goblin Firemate. So we're going to go back now to the epics. Doesn't have to be untamed. We're going to look at the epics again, and we're going to say, okay, we want this guy, and we want him basically for little minion games, and then also just no archer games. You just slot him in, and he will hopefully do his job. So we're going to pick up a level 1. Why the hell? Okay, that's a bad level 1. We'll pick up a good level 1. $10. Ugh. Maybe not worth. And yeah, let's pick up a general as well. I cannot load. Level 1, $15. It's a lot more than I want to spend, but do we have a choice? Okay, so we looked at that. We got our things. Do we want the Heatsmith? No, I don't want the Heatsmith. Exploding Rats, how much do we have left? We got just under $3.50 to spend. So we got our archers. We got our 2 magic guys. We got a whole bunch of epics. Molten Giant, possibly? Not as nice as I want. Okay, we'll pick him up. So the only reason we're picking up this card is because... So his use is going to be when it's when they take away armor, all of the current tanks we have. So when they take away shield or armor, whatever you want to call it, Living Lava will lose their shield. And if you look at something like Earth, there's tons of strong monsters that have HP but no armor. When we look at Fire, we kind of rely on that armor, because if not, our tanks are very subpar. So what we need to do is we need to have a tank. So this is just the tank for no armor games, and we just put him in, and he's just meant to like stay there and soak it up. Normally, what you would use is you use the Magnor, but because we don't have that $80 to spend, we're going to buy a budget one, and that's okay. What else can we, how much do we have left? $1. That's not much to buy for $1. What to buy? Antminers is really shit. I wouldn't recommend it. Oh, you could also totally buy the Cholok Minotaur for the exact same thing that the Molten Ogre does, but I do prefer the Molten Ogre because it has Demoralize, though it can miss because of its terrible speed, but in reverse speed battles, very strong. Let's think. Do we want to buy? We can buy a Flame Imp, but I don't like Flame Imp, to be honest. Pit Ogre is okay. Naga Fire Wizard, okay. How much is she level 1? Level 1 is $4. No. Actually, I think that's it, guys. I think this is the best team you would buy, and then you just save that $1.30 for something else. So what you get is one additional summoner. Unfortunately, we can't use levels yet. We just still don't have the budget for it. But you get one new summoner who's not the best, but you'll still have a summoner. You'll have your really strong melee second line. You'll have your lava launcher. You'll have your Pyromancer, so those are some of the best cards. You'll have Exploding Dwarf, which is situational. Flame Monkey is just for when you have one extra mana and you're just going to spend it on something in case you don't have a chicken, or if it's no neutral cards are allowed, you just put in the Flame Monkey and he'll basically just take a stealth hit or an opportunity hit, and he's basically cannon fodder at this point. You've got your Flamesmith and your Etienne Spearman, which are these cards here, which will basically just be your strong backline archers. You've got your Alfred Elder, which is your magic damage. You've got the Goblin Fire Mage for little minions. He'll be very strong there. And then you've got your General, which is just a better archer. And then you'll have your Molten Ogre. Maybe the Felix General should be switched out. I think $15 is a bit much. We could spend that better. Yeah, I'm gonna actually recommend you take that out, and we find something better to spend it on. Maybe like investments or just rent, because this feels a bit forced. I don't like that, actually. I don't like feeling like we're forced into a situation. Maybe just the Pyromancer is already better, because for the same mana you get. Yeah, I don't like that, actually. Let me think about this quickly. $10 done, and then for your extra $8. Might as well pick this up. Do we want a tank? I do not know. It's super cheap, actually. But we can even pick up a Fire Rat now. Yeah, I prefer this already. A Pyromancer is basically the same thing as a General, but now you've got extra money to spend, and yeah, you get a extra Minotaur, so he'll be used if it's like odds or evens. So if you have to play evens or odds, because at the moment the Molten Ogre and the Living Lava are both odds, so when you play even games you still have a strong tank for even games. You've got Exploding Rats, which will then be a backup in case you can't play the Exploding Dwarf. So same thing, but then Exploding Rats would work for little minions, where Flame Dwarf doesn't. So if it's little minions and Equalizer, Exploding Rats are your play. And then with the extra $7, what I would suggest is spend it and invest it. But if I had to pick which investment, I would pick up a Pyromancer, because I think Pyromancer is the one single card I recommend that all fire decks get, to improve themselves because it's got blast and it's just super strong. Where if you compare it to the only other blast card you get for free, which is a fire elemental, it's 1 mana less, but because it's only got 2 HP, it's completely exposed to stealth and opportunity attacks. So what I would suggest we do, and what I would actually do, is just buy an extra one. And perfect. That's I'm much more confident with this build. So unfortunately we didn't get any levels done, but with this build, I think these are the best cards you can get for $50 in fire as we speak right now. So please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. And if you're a new player, please use the promo code and I'll happily send you the 0.5 US dollars back to you. It just lets me know that people are watching and using the promo, and I'm helping new players join the community. Also, if you find me on the Discord, just pop me a message. I'll happily delegate any of the new players some power.